Hello, and now we're live. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. This is episode 6 of the BG4G Hub podcast. I'm your host, Elite Gaming Guru, and today I've got on the show. Oh, wait a minute. Let me mute myself. There we go. And I've got with me today as my guest. I've got the fantastic, fabulous, outstanding Mr. Boomstick XL. Say hello, my man.
Well, listen, thanks so much for having me. This is we've been talking about getting together for quite some time. I've
Yeah,
always always been a fan of you. You've been on my show several times, so it's the
yeah.
least I can do
Thank you very much,
to
sir.
be on yours, and I'm really excited about the format and what we're going to be talking about. So let's get going.
Right, excellent. And I'll like to introduce my other guest is none other than the new upcoming fantastic YouTuber. I'm really loving his content, so please drop him a sub and a like. Centurion.
Oh, what's up, gentlemen? It's actually my first time being able to meet you directly, Guru. I've always
Yeah.
chatted with you in the DMs, and it's actually my second show with Boomstick, but it's actually more on a personal level because it's just the three of us today, so I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'll probably have another, but I'd actually like to keep it short. The show's only going to be an hour long. The show's only going to be about an hour long, everyone. So I want to keep it nice, short, and sweet, as my wife says, just like me. So basically, the show's going to run like this. I'm gonna just talk to you guys. I'm going to talk to you guys, and because we're all gamers here, and the website is overall just about gaming, and so I just want to hear about you and your channel. So boom, you run a fantastic channel. As you said, you've given me loads of opportunity. You give lots of opportunity to the new upcoming gamers. You are a fantastic fella. You are. I just can't praise you enough. You're an incredible, kind, honest man, and I've got all day for you, my man. So, but you know, tell us about yourself, your channel. I want to just hear everything what you're into right now, what you're playing, what you're doing, what you got coming up on your channel, or you just sell yourself, mate.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you so much for the outstanding compliment. That is very kind of you to say. When I created Double Barrel Gaming, I really did this, and I said this in the pregame. I created this from basically from the seat of my pants, with no technical experience and no know-how regarding YouTube, graphic design, video editing, thumbnail making, nothing. And there were several people within this community that I have to shout out J Dubs, also known as the Graphic God. He is a gentleman. If you don't know know him as a person, but as a creator, as an artist, he is, in my opinion, second to none. He reached out to me. After I reached out to him, he was very, very, very understanding of how basic knowledge that I had, coming from a law enforcement background. We used computers, but that wasn't the aspect of the game, so to speak. It was law enforcement. And I've been a gamer since 1978. So I've been, since I held my first controller, which of course was the Atari 2600. I was always a community police officer. I worked in community affairs. I worked as a youth officer for almost my entire career. So community has always been at the forefront of my career as a police officer in New York City. And then I transitioned all of that knowledge and enjoyment behind it into what built Double Barrel Gaming. And, in the beginning, I used to do something called the Community Spotlight. And I think you have been part of that as well, Guru, where I would reach out to a particular YouTuber / Twitter, community member and say, hey, listen, I want to, represent you or put you in the path of the spotlight. Just give me, answer these questions, give me a bio about yourself. And then usually at the end of every video, I would do it. Now, obviously, as the channel progressed and grew, it became a lot harder to do this because I like going in depth, and I like giving whoever I'm talking about the spotlight that they deserve. They're taking the opportunity to allow me to present them. So as a paraprofessional, it's my job to make sure that they are represented in the most positive way. And I did that for quite some time. And as the channel grew, I kind of stepped away from that because the channel size, it didn't allow me the time to put into it. So that's why when you were talking about how I have new people on, that's my way of continuing what built Double Barrel Gaming. Having people on, because, whether you have no podcasting experience or 3 years worth, everyone is held to the same standard of respect and understanding.
Exactly.
And I think that, when you see my particular show, for instance, they're like, So Shady, who's a part of Breakfast with Boom. He likes the way the show's format is because everyone has a voice. And I think that's important to me as a producer, to make sure that if you're going to allow me to hold up your day for 2 hours on a show, I have to be responsible as a showrunner / producer to make sure that when you're here, you're not sitting there with your hands folded with your thumbs. You're here to talk about gaming, and your voice, regardless of, again, how big or small your channel is as important as mine or anyone else on the panel. So everyone is put on the same pedestal. And for me, that is super important because everybody's voice in this community matters. And I think that has been lost in translation, depending on who you ask and who you listen to. Some of the smaller channels, that I have a tremendous amount of love and respect for the channel, but the people associated with that channel are people like the Basement Radio Arcade podcast. Enrique and that entire crew, I consider them almost like an extension of my family. The same thing, of course, for the Iron Lords podcast. Everyone on that panel, as you know, I went to them to E3 2019, and we have a brothership. Another not really small, but he's small, but he's kind of big, and that's Salty. The Saltiest Gaming Podcast is another group of gamers who I have such a high regard for, because they're gamers and they talk about gaming with passion and excitement. And I mean, those are just 3 particular smaller channels. And the point of having new people on, the people of having new talent on, is I take that all the way back to Mooch. And I don't think he needs an introduction. Everyone knows who he is. He's the loudest voice on YouTube. And it was because of his understanding and generosity that I have a platform now, because I think I've told the story numerous times, and I will tell it again. I used to listen to everyone that I've worked with now. I would listen to their work as a fan. So to work with them has been a dream come true for me personally. But in regards to Mooch, I used to listen to M&C Mornings, and I used to listen to Crossfire as a fan. And just one day out of the blue, because everyone has a bucket list, right? Everybody wants to go to an exotic, locale. Everybody wants to, go, do something that they wouldn't normally do. Well, being on a video game podcast has always been one of my checklists. On my checklist, that I wanted to kind of get that check. So I reached out to Mooch, and I asked him, I said, listen, Mooch, do you have fans on? And he said, yeah, sure we do. Would you like to be on the show? And there you go. It was that simple. And then I was back on the next week, and back on the week after that. And then the 4th time, he was like, do you want to be a regular panel member? I'm getting good response to people like you. And that's how I was on that show for quite some time. I've recently left because I wanted on more personal reasons. I want to give back those Friday nights to my wife, which she's obviously the most important thing in my personal life. So, that's why I left the show.
Oh yeah.
And it's given me an opportunity to expand my personal channel, which, of course, if you guys remember, I announced on Twitter a couple of weeks ago that I'm going to finally run my own evening podcast, Monday nights, coming September 9th. It's called Primetime Gaming with Mr. Boomstick and Friends, and I have a regular panel member group of panel member gamers. Some are new, some of you've never heard of before, and some are slightly veterans like myself. And it's going to be interesting because there's going to be big time guests because of the time, as opposed to my earlier shows that are like in the morning. Sometimes it's tough to get people to come on. So the night show should be easy. But yeah, and that's Double Barrel Gaming. I say this with full respect to the listener. If you're looking for a particular channel that will criticize but use constructive criticism behind what I talk about, and also just have a passion and love of gaming, if you're looking for that kind of channel, you're going to find it on mine.
Yeah. Your channel's fantastic. You put the thing about you, Boom, is that you put so much work and time and effort into podcasting. It's clear you absolutely adore gaming, podcasting, and everything. And that's why I just got so much time and respect for you. I think you're a fantastic community member.
I definitely appreciate that. Thank you.
Just going to bounce over to Centurion. So Centurion, because you've sort of been around a while, but I think it's only recently you just seem to just come out, and your content's fantastic. I get sort of a lot of stick for antagonizing a certain fan base, but really what I don't know, really what it's about is that I just like to post the facts and logic. And all I do is just call out mistakes and correct errors. That's all I do. But the thing I love about your site, Centurion, is that you just say it how it is and say the facts. So what's got you into YouTubing, Centurion?
Well, the person that was the main motivating factor about me getting into YouTube is actually here in the chat with us. That was Boomstick.
Yeah.
I had listened to podcasting and was in the gaming community for probably, I think, a year before the Xbox One X came out. And the funny part is I actually did start with listening to Colt Eastwood, and then I found Mooch and Crap. And as a result of Crossfire Podcast, I got exposed to Boomstick, and I listened to it for the longest time. I even remember, I have the memories of when Mr. Boomstick came out and said that he actually started a YouTube channel, and I tuned in as soon as I heard that. And obviously, I'm a welder by trade / parts manager. I do inventory control, and I weld in my personal life. And to hear Boomstick talk about how he was a police officer and totally chose to do something different. I've always been a little computer savvy, though. I love computers. I always mess around with them. I sometimes go on the computer and actually teach myself to code and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I hear that motivation that Boomstick was putting out on, like, just jump in head first, give it a shot. And I decided to do that. And the funny part is I still remember it was actually on my birthday, February of this year, of when I officially got into YouTube. I actually gave Boomstick a set of codes to give out. It was a code. It was 1 month of Game Pass and a month of EA access, so that way people could play Crackdown 3 and Anthem. And so I still remember that, and I've been kind of, I want to say, going strong since then.
Your videos are fantastic. I want you to know that when you do them, they are very informative. Like, I've actually learned pointers from listening to your stuff. I mean, what I love about your stuff, Centurion, is that like Elite Guru Gaming was saying, is that it's honest. It's pure. It has passion behind it. That's something to really be proud of.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You did, because when I first started watching your videos, it's just like you've been doing this for years.
Yes, he does have a sense of veteranship for sure.
Exactly. And I'm like, I suppose I can speak for Boom like this. We're sort of old dogs, so like this is all a new learning curve for me. I mean, Mask Mayhem and FOM have really just carried the site so far because I don't have a clue about programming or WordPress or anything. So they've been doing loads of work, and loads of respect to them two guys. It just goes over my head, and loads of respect to you, Boom, for getting to learn it all. But Centurion, it just seems to you're seeing such good quality.
It seems like a natural. I think I could say that with full.
I appreciate hearing that. I try to be as factual as possible. Like, I am an Xbox fan, but I'm a multi-console owner. I have a Nintendo Switch. I even have a Wii U sitting right here. I won't get rid of that thing because it's backwards compatibility with the GameCube, and everything is all I need.
Yep.
I have 2 X's here in the house. I have a PS4 Pro. I enjoy gaming. I can't get enough of it. I wish I had more time to game. But if you watch some of my first videos, I will say it right there. You could see how I was new, especially my first video. I was scared of the damn microphone. But what happened is I wanted to learn quicker than just watching YouTube videos and stuff, and I didn't have access to the people in the community like Boomstick did. And I will give credit. I noticed Dealer had a level on his Patreon where you could actually, get him to help you understand YouTube and the ins and outs of being a content creator. So I was like, you know what, why not? I got onto that Patreon level. I got to meet Dealer Gaming. I've even got to meet almost all the members of his cast. They're a really amazing group of guys. And Dealer really showed me how to get better stuff. He even helped me find the computer I'm working on now. He definitely gave me a lot of pointers. So I will definitely, he even said it himself, I'm a natural, but obviously I needed to be guided purely because at that point I felt like I was just stumbling around blindly. But definitely, I definitely enjoy giving the facts. I even think sometimes calling out the facts is what gets me in trouble. Because again, I don't hate PlayStation. I love PlayStation. But I'm kind of wondering, my PlayStation was actually hacked 3 days ago because I was telling everybody that, with PlayStation, you got to be careful because you can get hacked, this, that, and the other. And amazingly enough, because of the way I feel about PlayStation and their security, they actually got away with nothing. It literally, they had control of my PlayStation for 12 hours. It cost me no money other than a 30-minute phone call with PlayStation support.
Wow. So on that, so customer support for PlayStation in general, is it good? Because I used to hear a lot of bad sort of press about it.
I want to say the gentleman I got on the phone with was actually rather nice. I have dealt with the bad side of PlayStation support. I really have. The gentleman I got was helpful. He really wanted to help out. You could tell, but he had to also play by their rules, and he had me looking for stuff in my email that was months old, and emails will clean themselves out on their own. And I'm like, so you're. Luckily, I found one receipt from a game that my wife just recently purchased to give him the actual proper information that he needed to prove that the account was mine. Because the person that took over the account, from the way it looked, was definitely like somewhere in Saudi Arabia or something like that, which totally. He's like, yeah, like now that your account's put out of this country, there could be some issues if you can't provide me with the proper information. But luckily I had a receipt to prove that I was who I was and all that other good stuff. It wasn't I'll tell you, when I called them, I wasn't looking forward to it.
Yeah, because as I said, this is a gaming site basically. So, and we want to be as factual and informative as possible. And I'm just always curious why the media never covered the whole hacking system, or even Sony didn't really say much or announce the issue or any problems or anything. It was just sort of swept under the carpet. Because I don't know how big or the whole issue was. Obviously, I've heard you've had problems with it, and I heard someone else had issues with it. But how big was the overall problem? Does anyone know how?
I mean, their security is unfortunately, we know what happened with the PlayStation 3, right? The hack broke it, brought the whole thing down for almost, I think it was 2 months. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, the welcome back program.
Yeah, and unfortunately,
and Sony got sued massively for that.
Yeah, they did, and rightfully so. The problem is this. Sony does a lot of things right. This generation is a perfect example of that. Their first party games have not. I mean, listen, whether you like them or you don't, I hear you. I happen to really enjoy them because, of course, like Guru was saying, we're old dogs, and old dogs, they don't necessarily learn new tricks, and they like what they like, right? They're going to gnaw on that bone. Even if it's old as hell. And for me, I am an old school gamer who appreciates I guess it's considered nowadays the selfish single player mentality. Now, I like multiplayer. I like playing mostly with my brother, Neo Mental of Twitter, and a few of our friends that we get down. We play, Destiny. We play the Division 2. But for me, being an older gamer, I like story. And it's something that Sony has done very well this generation, and of course, their marketing is basically filled with magicians because they have a knack for being very aggressive with their marketing and making the casual gamer actually believe that it's an exclusive to said PlayStation 4. And that's like I said, you can't. It is what it is, so to speak, with that. But in regards to their security protocols and procedures for their hardware, I gotta be honest with you, it almost seems, and it has been. I mean, I don't think I'm exaggerating here. Almost like the second thought, like almost unimportant to their business. And the fact that in 2019, Centurion should have someone from Saudi Arabia hack his system. And if he can't find an email, he's, pardon my French, shit out of luck because it's out of country, is frightening. And should cause many gamers within any community to have, especially if you're in the PlayStation community, severely alarmed. And I'm going to be honest with you, I have seen tremendous amounts of damage controlling, and I think that is not the right message that you tell Sony. You tell Sony, no, I am pissed. Someone hacked my account or hacked my friend's account. I can't play with them, and this is a tremendous inconvenience. I want better. The same way that they've turned it around and they've complained about how poor Microsoft's first party has been, and it has been, but they are course correcting. So why is it okay to tell Microsoft to do better? And when you do, and when you say, yeah, I am telling them to do better, but I'm willing to wait, you're considered a fanboy. And on the PlayStation side, if you speak out against Sony, even if you're a supporter of the brand like myself, you're immediately just called an Xbot. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Because you're talking negatively about the brand when there is a glaring issue, in my opinion. I don't know. What do you guys think about this?
Well, I was just gonna say, what the most shocking thing is I started off on console way back with things like the Banatone and Banatone, is it, and the Atari console. Then I moved on to PC, and then I was a PC gamer for a good 10 years. And then what brought me back to console gaming, and my first real console game was then the 360. Up until then, I'd mainly PC gamed. And the thing that pulled me off of PC was exactly that: was the hacking on games, the competition online was just people cheating. Just they used to call them pokes, and it just grinded on me. And that was the beauty of console gaming, that you could pass a monthly or yearly subscription, and all that goes away. You don't have to worry about being hacked. You don't have to worry about your games being messed up. You don't have to worry about cheaters. And that was, to me, the benefit of console gaming. Now, that's what I'm concerned about with Sony. What they're charging their subscribers a monthly fee, and you'd think for that your network should be secure.
That's great. That's a great point. That's a fantastic point.
And that's what's lost on me. Why the fan base are not saying, hold up, wait a minute, we're paying you monthly for this. Just like you, if you was on PC and you can buy, your Nortons and etc., and that protects your system. You're doing that for Sony, and I'm surprised there is no outcry at Sony, because this is the second generation of the chop now. We're in 2019, and you're still being hacked. It blows my mind that the media, and this wasn't such a big. It was just it blows my mind that a Gears 5 tech test was a bigger issue than Sony being hacked. That's what blew my mind completely. I don't know what Centurion's take on it always.
Well, you see, like, this is the way I look at it. Yeah, you know what? I didn't have two-step authentication put on for both my PlayStation and Xbox. It's there now. Yeah. But to point out the major differences in security, when I originally got hacked, the only emails I got were, hey, your password's been changed. Hey, your online ID has been changed. That was like the major bombshell when I opened my email. When I called the guy the next morning, because they were closed, that's why they had it for 12 hours or so, is because I couldn't call nobody. Meanwhile, at Xbox, if no one's at the phone department, there's always text chat. And I've had somebody fix a problem at midnight on text chat with Xbox. So there's always somebody there to help you with Xbox.
Yeah, that's
and so I called a gentleman, and as he's helping me fix things, he's sending me these emails that I should have gotten in the first place. Hey, click here to reset your password. Hey, click here to reset your online ID. I know those emails were never there in the first place. And I even asked him about that. I was like, so how come these emails never came to me in the first place? He's like, I don't know. So how did I get hacked? Oh, you had to let your password get out. I'm like, yeah, because I'm just advertising my passwords. No problem. That's confusing. You know, and there's just definitely some weird stuff about how it went down. I never got one notifying email that things were being changed. I only got the emails that let me know that it was changed, which was basically, it was after the fact.
Yeah.
The interesting. Now, here's the big reveal for everybody. The individual that got onto my PlayStation used the same information that he discovered on my PlayStation and tried to get onto my Xbox this next day.
Really?
Yeah, he tried to get onto my Xbox. I was actually at work. My phone went off at work. I didn't even have two-step authentication set up yet. My phone went off from Microsoft. And they basically told me that my account was locked down because of unusual activity. And that's when I found out it was from Saudi Arabia, actually, was because they sent me the device that was being used, its IP address. So, yes, I have my hacker's IP address. I will not put it out there. I talked to a few people about that. I'll just keep it to myself. But, yeah, I have his IP address and his location, which was Saudi Arabia.
You should give that to the feds. I'd find that's what I would do.
If somebody like that asked me for it, but I'm doing a YouTube video on this whole situation, and his IP address will be blurred out. You won't see his IP address, but if somebody from any kind of law enforcement or regulations, whether it's PlayStation or Xbox, was to ask me for it, I would gladly give it to him. So at any rate, Microsoft locked my account down without even having two-step authentication put on. And they basically told me that my account was to remain locked until I contacted them, which I did. I clicked the button that said it wasn't me. And as soon as I clicked that button, it put me in this whole thing where I had to change my password right then and there, and also turn on two-step authentication right then and there. In other words, they wouldn't turn my account back on until I did it.
That's great. That's great.
And that basically just shows you like how much of a difference there is between the Sony security and the Microsoft security. They were both on the same level. Yeah, I'm the dumbass that didn't have his two-step authentication set up. But the point is, Microsoft knew something was funny, and so they stopped it. Meanwhile, PlayStation just completely, oh yeah, come on inside, have fun, make yourself at home, move the furniture around, make a sandwich, do whatever you want to do.
A bank does the same. If a bank recognize unusual activity on your bank account, they shut it down and then contact you.
Yeah,
that's what they do anyway. Yeah.
So that basically shows you the difference in security right there, that he tried the same tactic on Xbox and it didn't work.
Do you know what this means, guys? One of you to do a YouTube video covering this.
Oh, I'm building it. Trust me, I'm building it. I'm even going to show people the emails and all that stuff so they can know
what just the pros and cons of what you're paying for with Sony, and what you're paying for with Xbox, basically.
Yeah, and like I said, if anybody's here or the guy that did it, I'm not dissing PlayStation. No. It's just the facts of the matter that this is how it went down.
Yeah. So moving on, just as you mentioned it, Boom, I want to touch on E3 and your experience. How was it? Was it the best show ever?
Well, here's the thing. Obviously, the only reason why I was able to get to E3, and I might have told this story, and I have to give the proper credit where the credit is due. This was due all in part to the unbelievable understanding of the entire Iron Lords podcast, because these gentlemen have gone numerous times. And I had made mention of them of wanting to go to E3 as a bucket list kind of a thing, because E3, if you're not aware, is an expensive venture. It is in fact a vacation. People have to understand that the flight could be anywhere between, depending on when you book it, anywhere between $300 and $700, especially if you're coming from New York. I happened to book it on January 1st of this year. So with insurance, I wound up paying like $342 round trip, both ways, no stops, New York to Cali, Cali back to New York. So it was pretty good. And then, of course, you have to put money away for where you're staying. Where we happen to be staying was called the Compound, and it was basically a mini mansion. It was about an hour and 15 away from downtown LA in a residential part of California, and it was a massive place. It was a bed and breakfast kind of a place, a B&B, so to speak, and it was gorgeous. But of course, it was 700 and change per person to stay there for a week. Now that is actually not bad when you try to get a hotel during E3 because you're paying 125 for some crappy room, where this was a house where it had multiple kitchens, multiple rooms. Everyone had their own room, their own AC, their own big TV. So it was a much better experience. And then of course,
sorry. So did you know everyone else in the house then?
No, I actually was meeting everyone. I've worked with the Iron Lords. I've never met them in person.
Oh, okay.
So everyone that was there, I was meeting for the first time, and they were meeting me for the first time. And it wound up being just an absolutely incredible experience. So you also got to have money to spend. There's food, there's traveling. If you don't rent a car, it's Uber everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And so there is a bit of a cost to that. But in regards to the show itself, LA is massive. And there is a physical toll that people don't talk about that comes with going to E3, especially. Now, I'm going to say this. If you are going as a fan, it's probably going to be the most incredible experience, if you're a diehard gamer, you've ever had. Going there as a showrunner / producer who has promised his channel base or his fan base for his channel significant coverage. There is a tremendous amount of pressure that comes with it because you're there, so you have to. The audience that's going to tune into your channel has to live through your eyes. So you have to be able to tell what's going on. You have to be able to produce a lot of content in a very short amount of time. So there's that pressure of trying to get to everything, and there's the physical toll as well as the financial responsibility for being there. I loved it, and I'm really looking forward to going back. But I'm going to, bring different cameras. Certainly put away a little bit more money, so I'm not as cash strapped. That you're not worrying about buying them, because I didn't buy anything for myself there. A lot of people go out and they buy. They go to the merch shops, and there's tons of them there. And they have some really cool stuff, but you have to be frugal, especially if you're a retired dude like me. It's only one salary per month, so you have to learn to work with the money that you got. But hold on, just like the fire engines are going by.
Oh,
that's because the show is so hot. Yes, that's right. The show's on fire. But in regards to the show, it is a spectacle unlike anything I highly recommend trying to experience E3 at least once in your life, especially, like I said, there are gamers, right? There are casual gamers, there are gamers, and there are the hardcore, the diehard gamers, which I think everybody on this panel is, everyone that's in the chat is, everyone that tunes into our channels are, and it is our Disneyland, so to speak, but with video games, because it's a very big spectacle. But the only thing that comes with that is that there are wait lines that are unbelievable. You want to play the new game, you have to be very specific on what you as a person want to see, because the lines are usually 2-hour waits. So if you get to E3 and you're there for 8 hours, you may only see 4 games. I know that sounds ridiculous, but that is in fact how it goes.
Can you get some sort of super pass thing like you do at the amusements?
You know what? I as far as I know, the only super pass that you could possibly get is if you are a part of the press, which in some instances, because of the channel and because I applied to these companies, some gave me press credentials. I was able to get into the EA Play event that was off-site of E3, and I actually was able to pick a time when I was able to see the game with people from the press. As a matter of fact, I think it was who was there from IGN. I was in the same line as him. Dustin Legary happened to be in the same line as me, and I don't, like I said, I don't have a love or hate for that dude. I don't like IGN at all.
Did you ask him I hate Xbox?
Yeah, I mean, we know what they're all about, but I was in the same line as him. Now, again, I'm a nobody. I just have a YouTube channel with 2,600 subs, and he is a prominent journalist within a mega corporation like IGN. But with that said, I was still in the same line as him. So while he was waiting to see Star Wars, the Fallen, Jedi, the Fallen Order, I was in the same line as him. So take that for what it's worth. If you can get into these events with press credentials, there is still a bit of a wait, but it's not the same wait, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Right. So Centurion, how about you? I don't know your positions in your country, because I mean America's a massive place. So is there any opportunity for you ever making a E3? Because E3 is always usually held in America, aren't they? Unfortunately, so I'm never going to get to see one. Actually,
E3 is held in the same location. Is supposedly held in the same location almost every year in LA.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Other than Microsoft and them, like companies are trying to change it up a little bit. They're still in LA, but they're not in the actual EA convention center, because from what I've read from a couple journalists and other people, the convention center that E3 is held at is actually kind of dated, which is kind of why Microsoft has their actual stage time at the Microsoft Theater, because it's more equipped. There's 4K cameras. The lighting is better. Anyways, I have an advantage over most people. I live here in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm about a 3-hour drive from this event. And I have talked to a few people, at least in my mind, this is probably the way it would go, is we probably rent a minivan or something like that. We all pitch in to rent a minivan or something like that and drive down there. Basically try to, all pitch in and get like what Boom did, get a nice place to stay that's not going to be a crowded hotel room. And but I do want to check it out. It's definitely on my bucket list. I definitely want to at least go to one, if not multiple. And obviously that's going to be like an honor for Boom to kind of be considered to have the same credentials as somebody from IGN, at least, man. It just shows how far you've come. I could only hope to freaking have somebody be like, oh yeah, get in line with the press guys.
Well, dude, I don't know if it was luck of the draw, stupid luck, blind luck, whatever you want to call it, but I applied thanks to the guidance, of course, of the Iron Lords. And they got in, I got in, and we were able to. I didn't get a chance to interview anyone. I suppose I could have pushed the envelope and might have spoken to one of the developers, but I just put my impressions and did a couple of videos, and it seemed to have worked out. But it's definitely interesting if you're looking to build a like an online presence via YouTube. Getting to one of these big events, and it doesn't necessarily have to be just E3. The Iron Lords they've covered numerous events. For me, it would be just that, because that's the Mecca, so to speak. But you don't have to. You can cover other areas, other events that other people aren't going to see. That's the thing. It's the accessibility that people are going to tune into your channel for.
Yeah. Definitely. I definitely want to check it out. I've seen, like, man, your videos made me want to go even more, and you definitely had Lady Luck on your side or something, man. I was so excited when all of a sudden you put out that you got into the Microsoft press conference because of just something that was completely out of your control. And
that's
awesome.
Yeah, how that transpired is due to the absolutely ridiculous and outstanding generosity of someone from this community that everyone should follow on Twitter. Gotham Guy. He is a big supporter of many of the channels that I still listen to, along with being a fan of my work, which is just humbling. And he had originally offered me. He had gotten in. And he had offered me his +1. I just didn't see it in time, so I wound up missing it. And then as I was there at E3, I'm already flown in. We're checked in. He reaches out to me via DM, and he says, "Hey, Boom, my +1 hurt his shoulder in the gym, so he can't come. Do you want in?" And I'm like, oh my God, of course. And a big shout out to the FanFest team. They were amazing. They asked for my information, my email address, all my information, and within an hour, I had the congratulations. You won a pass. So I was able to get in thanks to Gotham Guy's generosity. And I'm going to tell you this right now. There's a lot of flag flying animosity between the brands and on social media, right? Sony hates Microsoft, Microsoft hates Sony, Nintendo hates everyone, and I'm going to tell you this: Microsoft showed me something that I've only ever read about and only seen in videos, but to experience the generosity and the accessibility that you have at Xbox Fan Fest. They treat everyone that gets a ticket like a complete rock star. It is an experience that, talking about it right now with you on the air, has given me goosebumps, literally from my head all the way down to my toes. That's how much of an experience. The accessibility, the amount of Microsoft executives that I took pictures with, shook hands, and had a chance to talk with, has never been seen before in gaming. I don't think Microsoft gets enough credit for how incredible their employees treat the fans. All you hear is, well, their first party sucks and everything else sucks. That's all you hear. But again, Phil Spencer, who I love him as a human being, but so much respect him. I have so much respect for him because of the person that he continues to be. That good guy mantra that he holds so dear is why I gravitate towards him, because I'm like Phil Spencer in a way where I don't hate on someone for having success. And I'm always willing to help someone. That's Phil Spencer, and that's why I enjoy it. But my God, guys, that was an experience that we can spend 2 hours just talking about it.
No, I'm on the same level as I like Phil Spencer for his mentality. I always compare it to, Phil Spencer is Phil Spencer. He's not Vince McMahon of the wrestling industry trying to choke the life out of everybody.
Great analogy.
And the thing is, if you kind of read the articles that come out of the wrestling industry as a result of how Vince McMahon is, you could kind of see like there's disgruntlement and everything else. You don't hear that out of Microsoft, which is kind of like what I pointed out on PTK's show last night. That could be another reason why they're getting all these great names.
Yes, that's a great point.
Because, I remember watching the Giant Bomb interview, and they asked Phil Spencer about developer crunch and developer unionization and stuff. And he's like, that's just not on my radar. And they kind of were thrown off by his answer. They're like, so you don't believe that developers are crunchy? And he's like, we don't have those problems at Microsoft. We have a very open door policy. It's an open forum. If you want to air your grievances, as say, and he's like, they're not even grievances. They're just people saying, hey, can we do this differently? Or, we can do that differently. He's like, we have a very open forum. And so we're not this company that basically is just trying to dictate to you on how to do your job. We want to make sure there's a healthy life, work, personal life and work life balance. And also point out, I'm also like watching your stuff on E3, man. It's going to be 2 bucket lists for me. One, going to E3 and finally being able to go to a rooftop party. Seeing everybody on the rooftops and stuff, you're like, man, only in California. Out here, people be cooking. But yeah, freaking
that rooftop. Let me tell you something. I went up there, I enjoyed myself, but I didn't order anything. A drink was $18.50. Okay, so yeah, okay. So someone was nice enough. Someone was like, "Hey, boom, you want a drink?" I'm like, "I'll take a ginger ale." $6.50, man, for a glass that was the size of a shot glass. It's ridiculous.
But just to finish off, we all like talking about developer crunch and how Microsoft is actually a great company to work for. Let's look at the game industry as a whole. Can you name one other industry other than the movie industry where the people creating these products are treated like rock stars? Yeah. You're not. No. You don't see people going to these automotive shows completely crowding the guy who owns Ford, screaming, oh my God, it's the guy who owns Ford or another car brand. But the minute you get Phil Spencer in a room or Larry Erb or any of these other guys, even the guys from Sony and Nintendo, they have this fan base that gravitates around them, and it's one of the few industries that actually allows that to happen. And it's really awesome that Microsoft embraces their fans because, you know, let's face it, you know, the other two brands are overseas, so they're not here or as prevalent as Microsoft can be. So I really like it when I hear about how everybody is just wanting to meet the people that they entertain.
Yeah. Yeah, brilliant. Anything more to say on that? Then boom.
No, actually, I actually don't.
So if not, I'll push on with. Are we all ready for the quiz? I think we should touch on the quiz now. Are you ready for this? Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to run a quiz on the podcast, and then the results are going to go up onto our website, so you can go on there and you can see everyone who takes part in the podcast in positioning. So it's going to be like a league. If you guys ever watch sort of Top Gear, and they have the simple car thing, you drive around and you just have a league position of people. You know, you see that?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yes.
Yeah, but it's going to be like that. But what I'm going to do now is that you guys can team up. So basically, you're a team now, boys, and your goal is to get as many questions correct, as possible, and then be the first onto our leaderboard. And then the next guests I'll get on, they're going to do the same and see if they can better your score. And then in a year's time, the winners will get an award. So, are you ready for this?
Sure.
All the questions are going to be game related, so it's not just going to be random questions like what's my middle name and things like that. It's going to all be game related.
What is the equation for pi?
yeah. So I'm gonna start the clock after I've asked the first question. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna give you a minute to answer as many questions as possible. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, sure. Go right ahead.
If you're not sure of a question, just say pass.
Okay.
If you want to move on. Right. So here we go. Ready? First question is, what does the acronym SIE stand for with regards to PlayStation?
SIE, Sony Incorporated Entertainment.
Wrong. Right. What is Matt Booty's official title at Xbox?
Oh my gosh.
Matt Booty, I believe he's the head of Xbox Game Studios.
Oh, no. How many YouTube subs does Boom have as this moment?
For the last time I checked was 2691.
Yes. Name at least 5 members of the RDX podcast.
Oh my God! There's Dealer Gaming, D-Batch, Colt Eastwood, Zocker, Grounded Gamer, aka Fonzarelli.
Yeah. What does Luca have as a header on her Twitter pic profile?
Yeah, she has I think it's a rat.
No, right. Marek, at this moment, what is the highest selling Switch game? And for a bonus point, how many did it sell?
Oh,
sorry, I'm going for 2 minutes, guys, not 1 minute.
Super Mario Maker or whatever it is.
Is that your final?
I'm gonna. I don't think it's Super. Well, you're talking about for the Switch.
Yeah, high selling.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably say that it has to be Zelda, and I think it's probably,
right, Zelda.
Probably around 12 million copies.
That's incorrect. Name 5 first-party Sony studios.
5. What?
First-party Sony studios. PlayStation studios. Name 5 first-party PlayStation.
Oh, Naughty Dog is one. Guerrilla Games is another.
The Sony. Oh my God, I was talking about them last night. Sony Santa Monica.
Right. Sony Santa Monica. There's. Oh my God, that's.
You can say pass. You move on if you're not sure.
Yeah, pass.
Who won Best Fighting Game at the 2018 Game of the Years?
For fighting game, Soul Calibur 6.
I don't know. Well, didn't Super Smash Bros. Come out last year, or was it this year?
It wasn't. No. And I'll give you one last question. What famous director will feature in the game Death Stranding?
Hiro Kojima.
No, director.
What famous director will feature in the game Death Stranding? Who?
Guillermo is as you said, a famous director.
Yeah. Go on, I'll give you that. Yeah, there we go. Done. Right, and I'll put your scores into the league. You'll be the first scores to go up on the league on the website.
I wasn't a good team member.
Yeah. It's all fun and games.
It is all fun. It's all a bit of fun. And talking of fun and games, what I want to do now is I want to get your. Do you ever heard of Room 101? What it is
Okay.
basically any pet hates you got sort of in the world. I just want you to tell me what they are now. See, personally, one of my pet hates is silly, stupid songs. I'll give you an example. Kai Simon's "You're So Vain," where she basically talks about a guy saying he thinks his song's about him, but it's not. But clearly the song is. But for some reason that song really grinds on me. And that's one of my 101s. Look, I hate that song so much, just because clearly the song is about the guy, even though she sings it's not about the guy. What is your 101s? What pet hate do you have in the world that you could just throw away and just delete from existence?
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, with me personally, I do. I mean, I guess if I had to say that I hate or dislike something that I would like to see going away, it would be how people treat each other on social media, because they're what I like to consider keyboard cowboys or cowgirls. There's no respect for one another, and there's a lack of understanding with just human beings as a whole. I think that what's frustrating is when two people don't agree on something in this generation. It's the younger generation. I guess maybe it can go back to the participation trophy era that I like to consider this generation. To just because they don't agree with them, they feel that they could be nasty or revert to name callings as if they were 5-year-olds in the school ground. And I mean, that's probably, if I had one pet peeve, that would be definitely it. That there's a lack of understanding, and I think that something's got lost in translation. That just because two people disagree, they immediately have to go at it with each other, and that is far from the truth.
Yeah, exactly. Centurion, go on. What's your pet peeve? It could be anything. There must be something.
Right now, at this very moment, man, I feel like Boomstick kind of hit the nail on the head right now. I do like, because I will agree when I encounter some of the people that I do on Twitter and other social media sites, and also in the comments on YouTube. When I meet the people that are really genuine and nice and know how to be respectful, even if they don't agree with my opinion, it gives me hope for the human race, as I would say it. Because, yeah, when you're on there, you watch a lot of people just say some really nasty things. And I can handle people not agreeing or wanting to have a good debate about something without name calling or stuff like that. But I didn't realize how toxic it could be until, I'm not going to mention this guy's name. He needs to have his Twitter account completely taken away from him. But, when I saw the image of him tearing down a handicapped individual playing on an adaptive controller, and his title basically put out that, Xbox fans and Phil Spencer are just as retarded as this. And and the guy's done it twice. That's the funny part. They took his account away and he did it again, just using a different image of somebody. And that's where I'm just like, this dude needs to have his Twitter account completely banned. They need to ban him completely from Twitter. And every time he creates an account, they just need to shut it down, because at that point, you're being inhuman.
Oh my God, absolutely. Great point.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Like, I can handle people having a debate, sometimes even playfully calling each other out. But to completely tear down somebody, and especially if they have a handicap, you're just becoming inhuman at that point, and it's just disgusting.
I agree.
And that's why I try to tell people we all need to game united. Not divided, game united.
Well, that's the thing that shocks me the most on Twitter is there's actual accounts that have things like, I mean, how can you hate a brand it's a brand so much that you actually go to the effort to, because you have to make an email account, then you have to make an account just there is accounts that is like Phil has cancer, and they have a picture of Phil with no hair and stuff like that, and just stuff like that.
That's another account that's been banned numerous times. It's gross. You know what? Listen, I'm going to say this.
Much effort.
Yeah, you have to be a real person with massive issues
Yeah,
to think
exactly.
that that is acceptable behavior. And again, I hate to say this, the problem with social media is that there are no age restrictions. So if you're a 13-year-old jackass
Yeah.
and you want to, and I actually don't necessarily think it is the kids. The kids are busy playing Fortnite. They can give a shit about
Yeah.
what's going on between Xbox and PlayStation. They don't care. We're talking like the 16, 17, 18, 19, even 20-year-olds that are still stuck in the schoolyard age that are making these accounts. And listen, if that's what you find fun, I feel very sorry for you as a human being.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just I think it's just getting too much now. It's gone too far. I've never recalled this in my whole gaming life as bad as obviously 'cause as I said, I come from PC gaming where I sort of hate just playing online. I thought come to console it'd be good. And during the 360 time, I don't remember any of this. Maybe I was just completely oblivious to it all. But then coming into this generation, it just hit me like a wall. It was just hate everywhere. And even my channels, it's just gameplay. But I just get people come onto it saying Xbox sucks and Xbox crap. And it's not even sort of it's just gameplay. It's me playing a game. And it just there's so much hate on it. It's just random and weird.
The
And
game.
I've never seen so much hate at all on just this generation. Just seems to be so, and it is. What I liken it to is like football, where you've got your football hooligans. Now these are not football fans. They're just people that just go to matches to have fights and just kick off. If their team was to close down, then they would very likely then just go to another team, support that, and just do exactly the same. I don't believe they're actual gamers. I think they're just in it just for the hate, and that's what they get off. And it's just weird and a sad mentality that
Yeah,
we
well,
have
you
as
know what it is?
fans.
They want to be a part of something, even if it's negative.
Yeah,
And it's very easy to be negative. It's very difficult to remain positive. I'm going to tell you that right now, as a content creator that has seen people's channel. Again, I'm not a hater. I'm a congratulator, and I help everybody I can. But it is disheartening, and it is. I think it hurts the industry, the content creator industry, where drama sells and builds channels as opposed to someone coming up on the scene and using constructive criticism, logic, facts, information, and running a positive channel. And it is sad. It's very sad.
yeah, it is. So, right. So we're coming to the end of episode 6 podcast now. Before everyone goes, I want you to all thank Boom and Centurion. They're doing two fantastic, wonderful hosts, guests. Guys, where can we find you?
Well, I'll let Centurion go first. Go ahead there,
Yeah,
brother.
go for it, man.
Well, for starters, there's no thanks necessary. The honor is all mine. I appreciate you guys inviting me to be here and letting me be a part of BG4G to begin with. So definitely thank you. But you could find me on YouTube and Twitter at Centurion1307. And also, I run a website called legionofgamer.com where you will find a page on there called Preferred Content Creators, where you will find links to all the fine gentlemen in this on this podcast and on BG4G. There's even links for Boomstick as well. I want to help people that really want to spread a positive message out as best I can. And there's even more links on there than just the people here. So definitely, if you're looking to follow anybody, get into podcasting, if this is your first podcast, or just really trying to find positive people, it's a good place to start.
Brilliant. That's thank you, Centurion. So I'm calling you Centurion. Do you prefer I call you Centurion 1307? Or
Whatever works for you. I know saying the
or
1307 at the end of it can sometimes be difficult.
Yeah. And Boom, come on, where can we find? We know where we can find you, but just tell us anyway.
Well, listen, I mean, look, I'm going to say this. First of all, if you want to find me on Twitter, if you want to talk on Twitter or follow me, I do a follow for a follow. I know a lot of people don't do that. I do that. I think it's a polite way of being.
Yeah.
And at Mr. Boomstick XL, my DM is open to everyone. I do accept message requests if you can't get in, unless of course you are someone trying to sell something. I just delete it. If you want to talk to me as a fan, then I accept everybody and we talk. If you're interested in getting on to any of my any of the live shows that I do, and you're a first-time podcaster, or you want to kind of get your feet wet, or you're on your bucket list, reach out to me through a DM, and we'll as long as you have the proper mic and you have the proper equipment where it doesn't sound like you're talking out of a tin can, I get you on. There's no requirements for it other than you wanting to talk about gaming. And if your
chat looks interested, he looks like he's up for it.
Yes, absolutely, and that sounds awesome. Yeah, that's right. I just saw that. Yeah, listen, dude, hit me up in the DM at Mr. Boomstick XL. We'll talk because promoting new talent and giving people a voice is something that the channel was built on, so we can work on that. And if you're interested, like I said, I don't demand anyone sub to my channel, but I'm gonna tell you this: if you want shows in plural, that there's a significant amount of effort and work that goes into each, and everyone that's ever worked with me know that my show notes are upwards of 4,000 words per show. I spent a lot of nights past midnight writing to make sure that these shows are different and effective, and they're positive. I don't do the drama. I support all three consoles. If you're looking for a channel that respects your time as a viewer, look no further than Double Barrel Gaming on YouTube. I think you're going to find something there that you like. And if you enjoy what I had to say today, it's pretty much what you're going to get on that channel. So thanks so much for having me, dude. It was great.
I just want to say something, Lee. I can attest to what Boom is saying. I was DMing Boom long before I even got into YouTube, and he would always respond. And, I just want to let you know, dude, you're a very awesome guy, and I appreciate the fact that you would actually respond to me.
I know, dude. Listen, that's my absolute pleasure. First of all, you have to. The way I like to look at it is people are taking the time to reach out to me. It's the respectful way to be is to talk to them back, and that's my way of being. And like I said, it's that good guy mentality that we see so much in Phil Spencer. You get the same out of me. So thank you for that. That's very kind of you to say.
As I said, as always, Boom, it is fantastic to have you. We'll have you both on. You're both excellent, outstanding members of the gaming community, not just Xbox, not just because we're neutral here. We are neutral here, baby, and you're just great members to have. Thank you all for watching. Remember, guys, everyone in chat that's still here, please check out the website. We do have links to both these guys' websites on the channel and information and stuff all about them. So please check that out, and then I'll get up the league table as soon as possible. But thank you all for watching. Thank you, guests, again, and over and out. We're out of here.
Take care, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Later.